everyone, and happy Sunday. Welcome to week 7 of our e-learning business leadership course, March 25th to 29th. Here's what's on tap for this week. So as always, start your week with that attendance activity. Make sure you complete that to be marked as present for the week. All right, I hope you all had a great weekend. This week is very content heavy in terms of learning. So buckle up because we've got some serious grade 12 academic learning to do. So this week our focus is going to be on learning about management theories. There is a lesson and there's a reading, and it's going to take you a while to get through that content. This content's really, really important. You're going to come and see this content throughout the rest of the entire course, where I'm going to be looking for you to make connections. Basically, management theories are our understanding of theoretical approaches to managing people, starting from, really the onset of the Industrial Revolution and sort of different theorists coming together, trying to create and adopt processes and procedures for how we manage people in factory-like settings, to where we've moved to now in the 21st century with more open concept flex work schedules and things like that, sort of the more Google approach to things, right? So there's a lot of learning to unpack here, but the takeaway from this is that regardless of when the management theory was theorized, they are still applicable to modern day leadership environments and situations, and it's going to sort of have you look at that critically and when those approaches might be best utilized. So with that in mind, we get started on Monday by working through a lesson on more classical management approaches. There are several classical management approaches, which were, like I said, sort of at the onset of the Industrial Revolution, more looking at sort of the onset of the Gilded Age into the creation of unionized environments as well as factory-like environments, and how to sort of manage and lead people within the context of that type of environment. Classical management approaches are still used in modern day, even though modern day management approaches are much more applicable to modern day life. However, we still use that as baselines and also in certain environments. So you're going to go through this lesson as you always do. You're assigned the slide deck. You're responsible for writing detailed notes and understanding the content from that slide deck. There are a number of videos to watch as well to contextualize the learning throughout this slide deck. And in a moment, I will show you that there's also an additional reading once this loads for me. Again, basically you just go through the slide deck and make sure that you understand the content. I also want to point out that it is always, I'm always available to you during the school week. If there's ever any content that is within a lesson and you're having trouble understanding it. So for example, last year, I did have several students want to talk to me about the different management approaches to get a better understanding of them. That is something I'm always available for, so just know that, okay? All right, so there's that. And then on Tuesday, you're assigned, again, to continue getting through that classical management lesson, but you're also assigned a reading. Now, it's not very exciting, but when you do go to university, you will have textbooks, and your professors will assign you readings. And often the readings will be, 50 pages, 100 pages that you have to get done within a week. And you are responsible for the knowledge of that content. So practicing it now is actually kind of important, and we don't do it very often anymore in high school. But if you are on the university pathway, kind of look at this as an opportunity to practice that. So here's a reading, and basically what you're responsible for doing is going through the reading and taking notes, okay? And the reading starts by looking at those classical management approaches as addressed in that slide deck from Monday's class. So it just goes through that. And then as you can see, it starts to move into more modern day approaches. So we get into the Hawthorne studies, we get into Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as well as McGregor's theory X and Y, etc. So there are, I think, 12 different management theories within this reading. You are responsible for knowing each of these management theories and understanding what those theories are and how they are applicable into more of a modern day context as it applies to leadership and management. Okay, so to help you navigate this reading, there's an assigned guided question sheet that is attached to the reading. This is available to you in Dropbox, and you will go and make a copy of the document. And you are going to then go through and answer these questions. These questions will help guide your knowledge. So basically, it just gives you an indication as to what content is most important from the reading. And then you're going to be utilizing this content, like I said, throughout the rest of the course. Okay. So that's your first assignment for the week. And again, this reading has been assigned to you. It is available in Dropbox. And if my internet was working faster than this, you could see it by now. But if you scroll down, you will see that. Sorry, I just want to make sure I can show you. Yeah, right here. Sorry. Badge activity number 3, management strategies past or present. So the one that's following your blogger project. Okay. So that's that. So that is the first 2 days of the week. Now, on Wednesday, you're going to be assigned your next project. It's a management theories case study. Because we have the long weekend coming up and because it is a project, this is going to be a continuation into next week. So while I know we normally have our deadlines on the Monday, 8 a.m., that's not enough time for you to do this fairly. So I'm introducing it to you this week, but it's not due until the end of next week, next Friday, April 5th. Okay, so you do have the whole long weekend to think about it, but because I don't really want you spending your whole long weekend working on this course, you do have until next Friday, April 5th, to write the case. Please note that you will also have a unit test next week. So I have prepared a second video for you to watch about that because you have all of next week to write that test. You can write that test anytime next week, all the way up until the following Monday. So there is a separate video for that I will post on the activity feed with the unit test review sheet. So just look for that as well. But again, that's not something you really need to think about until next week. But I will say this, with this assignment, even though it's not due until next Friday, I would start it this week. I did find last semester when students didn't start it until the week that it was due, they were like scrambling at the final hour. Okay. So you do technically, because I am posting this video today, which is a Sunday, March 24th, and it's not due until Friday, April 5th, you do technically have almost 2 weeks to do this project. So don't leave it until like April 4th. I wouldn't do that. Okay. So managing your time is one of those pieces. Okay. So with that being said, your case study is linked in here, and it's also available to you in Dropbox. So if you go to Dropbox, you'll see this here, assignment number 4, management theories assignment. So you're going to make a Google document and you're going to share it with me with editing privileges for this assignment. I will absolutely not accept anything other than what has been shared with me with editing privileges, and it has to be in a Google document. So do make sure that you are following those instructions. So I'm just going to go through the assignment for you here. And again, this is really just practice applying the management theories that you're learning about this week. So it's really going to synthesize your knowledge from the reading and the homework sheet. And like I said, this is the list of all the management theories we're learning about this week. So there is a lot of learning this week, and now you're going to be applying that learning, okay? So with that said, like I said, you're going to respond to these questions using personal reflection. You're going to be responding to them in a Google document. Make sure that you give me editing access and share the Google document with me, and then copy the link as your submission to Dropbox. I will not accept any submission other than this form, okay? So what you're going to be doing is basically digging deeper into these management theories and applying them to your own life in a series of questions. So we'll go through some of these questions together, and I'll just kind of expand on what I'm looking for. So question 1, in your own life, identify a specific management theory being used by a leader or a manager you personally know. How has it impacted their leadership style and the atmosphere of their team, club, or organization? And then I've listed like some of the things I want you to think about. So for this question, I want you to think about somebody in your life who's inspired you. It can be someone that you've worked for. It can be someone that, you volunteered for. It can be a coach, a mentor, a teacher. Ideally, it's someone outside of your home environment. But like if you've worked for your dad before and he happens to be, in a position of influence in something that you admire, it could be interesting to talk to your parents, however, or adults in your life. However, However, I am always looking for you to stretch yourselves as well. And so thinking about that level 4 plus, you might want to reach out to somebody outside of your home environment to learn more directly from them. So you're going to think about this person. And then you're going to think about, based on your knowledge of their management, the management styles that we've learned about this week, you're going to think, what management styles are they using? How are they using these styles, and how are they effective and or not necessarily effective? Okay. So this may require a conversation with this individual, right? So for example, in part A, outline the person that you are profiling. Who are they? What is their relationship to you, and what is their position? And then use specific examples from their own practice to support how you believe they are using this management style. That's where a conversation may come into place. Like, hey, Aunt, how are you using this particular management style in how you lead the people in your office, right? So getting really, really specific, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm also looking for you making very specific connections to that particular management style that you are referring to. I want you to show me your knowledge and your understanding of that management style in this particular example that you're using with reference to this person. I am asking you to use a personal communication citation. So the conversation that you have or the interview that you have with this person, you do need to reference that. So if somebody has said to you, if you're interviewing your aunt and they share with you, what they do in their office, that's not your knowledge. So you're going to be citing that based on it being a personal communication. And I've gone ahead and I've linked in how to do a personal communication or interview citation using Chicago style right there for you, to make it nice and easy for you. Okay. Moving on to question 2, if you could combine elements from multiple management theories to make an ideal theory for you, what new theory would you create? So in this question, it's asking you to think outside the box and be creative. You're going to take your knowledge of the management theories and you're going to try to piece together 2 or 3 of them to create your very own new approach to management that you believe is applicable to your life in our modern day context. What would work best for you? What would be the most ideal approach to managing you in your personality, and what are those characteristics? So again, I'm asking you to demonstrate your knowledge of multiple management styles, connecting them together, thinking outside of the box creatively to sort of create your own idea around what a management style could be. Okay, and so again, I think the questions moving forward are fairly straightforward, but the idea here is that I really want you to demonstrate your knowledge of the management styles, connecting it to your own personal experiences. Make sure that if you're doing outside research or you're using information directly from the textbook reading, which I expect that you will, that you're using Chicago style citations to support that. You're not quoting something that is other information outside of what you know and calling it your own information. That's what I'm looking for that level 4. Okay. So again, I always recommend that if you are uncertain about whether you're on the right track, as you would do with your teacher in the classroom, make sure you send me an email and I can always happily set up a Google Meet, or we could do an email exchange just to check in as to how you're doing or with any questions that you might have. Just make sure that that's coming at me around Thursday, because I don't tend to check my emails on the weekends at all. Okay, so that is your management case. Now, like I said, this is being rolled out this week. It's not due until next Friday, April 5th. I do recommend you don't leave it until next week to get started. Okay. And then Thursday, you've got a work period. The Unit 1 test review sheet has been linked in here. Like I mentioned, the unit test is next week, but you have all week and the following weekend to write it at a time that is convenient for you. I will post a separate video explaining the test though. Okay, so because that's just a lot of content, but you do have time on Thursday to work on all of the above. So like I said, the classical management lesson, taking notes, making sure you're doing your reading and your guided homework question and submitting those in Dropbox. That is due on Monday at 8 a.m. And then getting started on your management theories case, which is not due until Friday, April 5th at I don't know what time. Let me check. What did I set it at? I think it was, 3 o'clock. Okay, so the end of the school day that day. And that is it. Okay. So again, you've got the long weekend coming up. So I recommend, if you want to reach out, make sure you do so before Thursday of this week. Otherwise, that is what we've got going on for this week. I hope you all have a fabulous week. And otherwise, I will see you online.